Steven, where do you think the gods dwell?
In the moon?
Maybe? I haven't played the campaign yet.
You need to play the scenario to find out.
I guess so. I'm gonna get to it now that the whole half campaign is out. Hi, I'm Brandon.
I'm Steven.
And we're here on Optimal Play again. All caught up for once. We're here recording on release day. Our first impressions of the player cards in the Where the Gods Dwell Mythos pack. If you haven't been keeping an eye on Optimal Play, we've been back to a pretty good weekly cadence with lots of fun stuff like Marvel Champions, more of the King's Dilemma, and we have cool stuff like Doom, Quacks of Quedlinburg, Rum and Bones, a lot of good stuff coming up. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you want to know every time we have anything to watch, there's a little notification bell thing there. Somewhere on the page you're watching this on right now, so that you can make sure that all your devices bother you every time we post something. Who wouldn't want that?
You got to 1,000 subscribers recently, right?
I did, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you for pointing that out, and thank you if you're one of them. Shame on you if you're not. And thank you to everyone who has followed, given feedback, just chatted with us, interacted with us. We're having a great time doing this, so we're glad that you have too. And yeah, that's a really cool milestone, so thanks a lot. With that, on to business. Did you play with anything from the point of no return?
So I'm playing a Daisy deck right now, and I thought about putting it in Power Self because I was like, oh, I can like boost her intellect by 2.
Oh, and Daisy, okay.
Yeah, but then I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, that seems wise.
The one deck I saw that seemed okay with it was Matastrophic posted a Diana that used it to boost all of her different stats, especially early on when her will is under 3. So I'm like, okay, that seems all right.
Yeah, right. I don't know how... I think we've mentioned Diana in our first impression, but didn't really consider that, oh yeah, Diana starts with 1 willpower. So actually, if 1 or 2 of those hit the table early, especially early in each game, they can be really strong. They still... I guess you'd just basically just overwrite them in the arcane slot once her willpower's up, right?
No, they don't take an extra slot. They all take 1 slot.
But still... Are they worth 1 slot once her willpower is, say, 4?
Or
would you just overwrite them with
overwrite
all
of them?
Yeah. I kind of feel like you would, and that's fine. I still don't know if that's gonna be good, but it's worth a try. Yeah. I haven't played Diana in quite a while. I'd like to, so yeah, maybe I'll get her back to the table. I tried a Glimmer of Hope. Glimmer of Hope. I don't think there's an on it, but. Actually was playing some True Solo Ashcan Pete for a change. Both things, True Solo and Ashcan Pete.
Ever True Solo?
You're right. I actually titled his deck True Duo. But I put a Glimmer of Hope in there. I think, I normally try to bring up a card that my opinion changed. I think my opinion was about right, where it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's decent as... to throw in to skill checks as a willpower card. As a wild icon. It is not a skill card, so it doesn't interact with all of Survivor's stuff that interacts with skill cards, but what it does is it's a card that you can discard to things like Ashcan Pete's ability to Ready Duke. So I think I'd actually really recommend it in Survivor decks with a discard ability. Whether it would usually be on the Investigator. I can't think of that many cards, like assets that have you discard for effects. That seemed really strong, and then the ability to pay 1 resource and return all 3 to my hand was something I did a couple times per game. I don't really see it if you're primarily playing them just for their icon being that useful, but yeah, I think it was worth the card slots considering to be primarily just discard fodder.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in a Wendy deck, because she can often get the 4th action with Leo, so she has an extra action to get them all back in hand and then use them to get new bag pulls. Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be, since you're spending a resource and an action, the question is always, is it better to bring them back to your hand or just draw cards? And it can go either way depending on the circumstance and what else is in your deck. But yeah, I'd say a little more effective and worthwhile than I thought. With that, we've got a fairly small set of new cards in the new pack, but I'm guessing that they're mostly high level, and I'm going to dive us in. Ready?
Yeah.
For Guardian, we are starting with the Empty Vessel, abandoned by the gods. It's a level 4, 1-cost Guardian asset that's an item, a relic, and is blessed, so lots of different investigators can use this.
Yeah, do Ursula and Mateo have any limit on how high level their relic and blessed are? Or can they go all the way?
I want to say they can go all the way up to level 5. Don't quote me on it. But I would like to think that both of them can use this. Let's see what it is. Limit 1 per deck. That's good because there's 1 in the pack. It uses 0 charges. As a reaction, after you defeat an enemy, place 1 charge on Empty Vessel. And then as a fast ability, if there are at least 3 charges on Empty Vessel, search your bonded cards for Wish Eater and swap it with Empty Vessel, moving all charges from Empty Vessel to Wish Eater. And I don't think I mentioned this, but it takes up the accessory slot. Okay, you want to... Wish Eater's the next card in the pack, right? Yep, you want to read that to us?
And that's not a forced reaction, so I guess you can charge this up as much as you want.
Oh, more than 3. True. Yeah, good point.
Wish Eater, Jewel of the Gods. It's a bonded item relic blast. When you reveal a special token, spend 1 charge, cancel that chaos token. Heal 1 damage and 1 horror. So this does not include the auto fail, but it's everything else. And then if Wish Eater has no charges, search your bonded cards for Empty Vessel and swap it with Wish Eater. And this is a accessory.
Yeah. Huh. So this... Interesting. It's weird to see something that cares about and cancels the icon tokens outside of Mystic.
Yeah.
But it does feel very Guardian the way you're basically filling it with the blood of your enemies, right? And then it also heals 1 damage and horror each time you use it. I think this is really cool.
Yeah, it is neat. It's too bad that Carolyn's going to have a problem with the first part of it because she loves the Wish Eater, but she's not so good at murdering things and putting them in her vessel.
Yeah. So the first thing we did was dwell on the we focused on the traits and said like, oh, Ursula and Mateo can take this, but I don't think either one of them want this, right? Like maybe Mateo gets some kills. Ursula probably doesn't. I've heard of people building murderous Ursula decks, but it's not really...
She can wield a bow, but I mean, if she's your primary fighter, like you've done something wrong.
Yeah, right. And then... Okay, its effect is super strong though. It's practically auto success because it just cancels the token. It doesn't redraw.
Yeah.
So unless you were going into it needing a positive modifier to pass the test, then like the payoff is really good here.
Oh, anyone that can take Mystic as a subclass, like Diana, can take like Dark Prophecy with this too, or Olive McBride.
Oh, right, to make sure that you draw the token and can cancel it.
Although wait, Diana can't take this. Is there? So who would it be? It would just be Dunwich Investigators, maybe.
Which, in this, since it's a level 4 Guardian card, would just be Zoe.
Yeah, that might be the only one right now.
This feels really right for a Zoe card, by the way.
That's true.
Like a like religious artifact that she fills with the blood of the wicked that she has slain.
Yeah,
I think that this is like spot on for her flavor. It's even on, actually, I guess you can see on the Wish Eater that it's the background of the art is some kind of like church or temple or something with like columns. Based on the Empty Vessel, it even looks like it could be on a kitchen floor, right? The black and white checkered. Sweet. It's no obvious use case like, man, this is the person who really wants this is jumping out at me, but it seems really great. Guardians don't really have a lot competing for their accessory slots, right? So other than the Hallowed Mirror, I think the other, or another Guardian card with a bonded, with bonded cards uses it too. But I think anytime we've got Guardians with some XP to spare, I'd highly consider this.
And they made the timing very generous where you don't actually need to like charge up for a really long time before using it. You can just do it immediately when you get to 3 charges, and then it just turns back into the Empty Vessel and you can charge it up again. So
yeah, I would say that your odds of filling it up twice, like how many enemies do you really kill in a game? Is it more than 6?
Yeah, I guess
probably not most games.
Yeah, I mean maybe in 3 or 4 player if you're the primary fighter, but yeah.
So I look at it as by the time you get it on the table and get it charged, you're not going to charge it again. So just judge whether it's worth going past 3 or not.
Although in Dream Eaters, well, I think those brooding enemies, everyone will count.
Yeah,
So,
good point.
Yeah.
So that's a quick way to fill this up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Hungering Blade in that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similar. Works well in Dream Eaters when you've got swarms of enemies. Yeah. All right, cool. Here's something I found. A surprising find. A level 1 Seeker skill with a willpower icon. Excuse me, what? That's the second time tonight I've said willpower instead of wild.
Wild power.
A wild power icon, yep. It is fortune and research traded. It's myriad. Oh, right, research trait means this.
Yeah.
When you search your deck and surprising find is among the searched cards, put it into play in your play area. You must commit it to the next eligible skill test you perform. If that test is successful, draw 1 card. Max 1 research ability per search, so it does compete with Astounding Revelation. Astounding Revelation? Or am I getting that confused with Ghastly Revelation?
Astounding or astonishing, one of those things.
Okay. Anyway, it's weird. So this is a skill card that you leave on the table for a while. Mm-hmm. Are you gonna play this?
I mean, an icon and a card is pretty good. So it's competing with a secret or 2 resources. Seems similar-ish.
Yeah. The question I'm starting to have is like, I look at this, it screams Mandy card, right? She obviously, she searches all the time. She searches for larger quantities of cards than anyone else. But how many research cards is too many, considering she can only find 1 at a time, right? They all say max 1 research ability per search.
She probably searches so often, though, that, like, you're still going to, like, you can just leave it there,
Yeah.
And if you're searching, like, twice a turn, you're not going to have trouble finding 6 research cards in your deck.
I guess I'm just picturing, like, you use Eureka and say you're going to take 2 targets and then all 3 of your cards are research cards because your deck is so full of them. And the Eureka itself is basically wasted. Like, maybe we're not to that possible density yet, but there is a number of research cards that would be too many.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Myriad, so you can have 3 copies for, I think, in 50 card Mandy, a total of 9 cards in your deck. 20% of your deck can be research. Bring it on, I say.
Yep.
All right, what do we have next?
Ooh, an old favorite, the Old Book of Lore. Now has a 3 XP upgrade. Still, no, it's cheaper now, 2 cost. Now it has uses, 2 secrets.
Yeah.
It did not before. Action to exhaust Old Book of Lore. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator searches the top 3 cards of their deck, draws it, and shuffles their deck. So far, all the same. Then you may spend 1 secret to have that investigator immediately play that card, reducing its cost by 2. That sounds really good.
Yeah, so if you use both of those, it pays for itself twofold on resources alone, and that's action efficiency, because they get, even out of turn, they get to play that card.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And the fact that it costs 1 less does help a lot too. But yeah, that just seems solid. And then even though it's only 2 secrets, Seekers do have a lot of ways to get secrets. I mean, certainly if you're playing this in Mandy, she's going to have the revelations that can give you a secret. So
yeah, the challenging thing with all the tomes outside of Daisy, which you point to her tote bag and say she can have infinite tomes, but the challenge is the hand slot. And with this, even though you can keep using it once its secrets are gone, it has a good feel where if you just get it into play, use it until its secrets are gone, which maybe you're not using a secret on both of the first 2 times you use it, but probably within 3 or 4 uses, you use the secrets up. And then you just put something else in that hand. Put in a fingerprint kit or whatever you need to keep getting clues. I think this is great.
Yeah, really solid.
Sweet. Yeah, and it's a no-brainer for Mandy. It's more searching, right? Sweet. We're on to rogue cards already. Grody Wire. I think that's how you say that word. Grody?
I don't know. I guess.
It reminds me of the Hitman games. I think that's his default way of like strangling people.
I think it was also a Netrunner icebreaker.
Oh.
Wasn't it a Sentry Breaker?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, here it's a level 2 cost rogue asset that's an item and a weapon, but it's in the accessory slot, despite being a weapon.
That's cool.
Yeah. It has a fast action. During your turn, exhaust Grody Wire to fight. You get, wow, you get +2 combat for this attack. Use only on an enemy with exactly 1 remaining health. Oh, this is awesome. You weaken them and then just finish them off with the wire. I love this.
That's super cool.
And I think, so we're really getting some good accessories this cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is pretty exciting.
We also... How many actions can Tony now use on an enemy? Like, I feel like he could do like 6 actions on an enemy and deal like 12 damage.
Yeah, he's got Leo. He's got his free action if there's bounties on it.
Quick thinking.
Right.
I can use growth.
Several other ways to get more. And then this is another. As far as I know, it's the first time that we've done a fight with the skill test and everything, but it is not an action.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. It's gonna make you kind of have to math out your turns a little bit, right? Like, it's only useful if you're either fighting odd numbered enemies or odd hit point enemies, or doing something weird like 3-point attacks or something to get down to that 1 remaining health.
Yeah. So again, Tony could be good because he can sort of decide whether to use Vicious Blow based on whether he has this in play. Like, oh, I don't have Grody Wire yet, so I'm going to use this Vicious Blow, or oh, this is a 3-cost enemy, I don't need to use my Vicious Blow because I have this, I can save it for a 4 health enemy. So
this, I notice, isn't melee, so it works fine for the last hit point, but it works on things like the conglomeration of spheres, right, without getting absorbed into the spheres.
Oh yeah,
it's even not quite sure how that works, but
well, because you're only touching them with the wire, you're not touching them with like the bulk of the
so you can just pull it back out before it gets like sucked in. Yeah. Cool card. We got one more for Rogue.
All right, Delilah O'Rourke, Syndicate Assassin, a 3-cost 3 XP asset. This is actually the cover of the previous pack.
I was gonna say I recognize the art, I couldn't put my finger on it.
So that's kind of weird. She's an ally, criminal, and syndicate. You get fight and evade. And then as a fast action, exhaust Delilah and spend X resources. Choose an enemy at your location. Deal 1 damage to the chosen enemy. 2 damage instead if that enemy is exhausted. X is the chosen enemy's evade value.
So it's Lola for damage.
Yeah.
Right? Lola Santiago lets you
true.
Pay equal to the shroud
Yeah.
to get clues. This is pay equal to the evade to deal damage, as much as 2 if you've already evaded it.
Yeah, so definitely could be valuable in Finn. The only problem is, like you said, he probably wants Lola as well, so can he afford both and have charisma? Like,
yeah, that's a lot of XP.
A lot of XP and a lot of money.
Yes. And a lot of money, and then... Or I was thinking just to play them, like that's 6 resources, right? I think they both cost 3, but then you need to be generating resources to actually use them. You're right, you probably want one or the other.
Yeah, but Tony, even though the enemy probably won't be evaded, might still take this. Especially you can combo it with the Grody Wire and ensure that they get down to 1x damage.
True, yeah.
And Tony can make a lot of money from his bounties, so seems solid.
Yeah, I think she seems great. She also doesn't get sucked into a conglomeration of spheres. Another solution to spheres. The rogues are just... I
mean, she's using a gun, so that makes sense.
That is true. Okay, flying through. The Mystic card. Oh yeah, I think I saw the preview of this. I don't remember the details, but I was looking forward to it. It is the Summoned Hound. It's a level 1, 3-cost Mystic asset. It's an ally, and it's a summon traded card. It takes up 2 slots, the ally and arcane. It says, as an additional cost to play Summoned Hound, you must search your bonded cards for 1 copy of Unbound Beast and shuffle it into your deck. That, I'm skipping ahead, is a weakness. We'll have you read that in a second. And as an act or as a fast ability, during your turn, except during an action, exhaust Summoned Hound. Interesting, okay. To fight or investigate, I guess, when it says fight/investigate? Yeah. Either attack with a base skill of 5 or investigate with a base skill of 5. It is upgraded Duke, right?
Yeah.
without the movement.
And it's a fast action. Like, that's the powerful part, I think. We just talked about how crazy it was that Grody Wire is like a fast weapon.
Right. Yeah, here's another one.
Yeah. Like, we have another fast way to deal damage.
The barrier has been broken on the fast fighting.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us the Unbound Beast, though, since that's
All
another
right.
piece of the puzzle.
So it's a weakness. It's 3/3/3, monster, extra dimensional, and Tyndalos. Does that mean something in the mythos?
Tyndalos is like a region of the Dreamlands.
Okay.
Hound of Tyndalos is a thing that's a kind of a default enemy in lots of the different Arkham horror games.
So praise on the bearer. It's hunter and retaliate. Revelation. If there's no copy of Summoned Hound in play, set Unbound Beast aside, out of play. Otherwise, set an investigator's Summoned Hound aside, out of play, and spawn Unbound Beast engaged with the same investigator. And it deals 1 damage and 1 horror.
Oh, so this is your Hound turning on you.
Yeah.
The Hound becomes the Unbound Beast, discarding the Hound. And interesting. Okay, so the Summoned Hound is great, but you kind of want to like let it soak its 3 health and go away before you draw this.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, is like, that is the only way to really make this not do anything. And what's really brutal about this too is, unlike the other bonded card that we looked at, where the Empty Vessel, where when you use up the charges it went back to its original state, in this one, when you beat up the Unbound Beast, it doesn't go back to being a Summoned Hound.
Right.
So that's pretty brutal. 3 HP enemies, generally take either 2 actions or some kind of, extra ammunition. So there's a real
Grody Wire.
Yeah. So there's a real cost to dealing with this. It's
So it's totally my playstyle.
Yeah.
I love to just like let it ride.
Yeah.
Take big risks, see what happens. I'm a big fan of Crystallizer of Dreams, which is the other bonded card that brings an enemy upon you.
And the sword also has a real downside.
Yes, that is not an enemy, but does have weaknesses that it puts into your deck too. Yeah, so I'm really eager to play this.
Yeah, I feel like all of those cards, like, probably not the strongest use of a card slot or an XP, but they're all really fun, and so far they're not like so bad that it's like, oh man, I put myself at a huge disadvantage. They're just like probably not the best thing, like if you were just going for a totally optimized.
Yeah, but what fun is going for a totally optimized deck?
Yeah.
I don't play on expert. Okay, it was just the 1 Mystic card. So there's nothing left but the Survivor card. Nothing left to lose. That's a lie. There's one more thing after it. I just noticed. Anyway, it is a level 3, 0, so maximum level for Survivor, right? 0 cost event. It's spirit traded. And it says, if you have fewer than 5 resources, gain resources until you have 5 resources. If you have fewer than 5 cards in your hand, draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. And then remove nothing left to lose from the game. Well, I mean, a 0 cost card that does 10 actions worth of drawing and resources seems good. What do you think?
That seems very strong. I mean, certainly Yorick is often down to 0 resources, and probably down to like low cards pretty often. So, and yeah, as you say, when it's 0 cost, it's hard not to make a substantial profit.
Right. Yeah. So does this go with Dark Horse? Does this go in that deck so that when you're ready to just like give up the stats for a second and get a huge boost of cards and resources, you do? Or is this like the exact opposite of that and you would not play them together?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, it might be too situational for a lot of Dark Horse decks where it's like, yeah, if you got this in the first couple turns, it would help set up, but like if you draw it after the first couple turns, it's just sort of dead. So
yeah, I will say that if you're really building a deck around Dark Horse, this helps you find it by drawing a lot of cards, right? But if you obviously you want your resources at 0 most of the time, but if you use this to get 5 resources and you draw 5 cards, it's going to be real easy to spend those resources, right? You've just gotten a handful of shiny new things to spend those resources on. You could spend one pretty decent turn playing nothing left to lose as your first action, and then burning through all those resources playing cards.
But you do have to be lower on cards, so you have to sort of set it up a few turns in advance.
Good point, because Dark Horse does not necessarily mean that your hand is small. Yeah.
So like maybe like a Wendy, because she can easily get rid of cards,
Yeah.
Be more useful.
Yeah, I found, again, Ash can Pete on the line since I've been playing lately. Even though he can only do his discard once per round, I found it burning through my hand size really fast. So actually, yeah, I will probably put this into my in my Pete deck, actually. Give it a shot. Before we move on, I love the art. It's got Patrice like strutting confidently across the Dreamlands, violin in hand. Pretty badass.
Yeah, and Patrice is an interesting use case. I mean, so you draw back up to 5, but like you only have a very short amount of time to use those cards.
Yeah, does Patrice like this card? That's interesting.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Unless you go for like such a skill heavy one that like the first action you chuck like 4 skills in, then you play this, then you do another action that chucks like 4 skills in, you know, like potentially. If she's very support oriented and she's already chucked all of her cards before her turn even begins, like just on other people's tests.
But yeah, all in all, I'd say it's one of those fun examples of a card where the investigator in the art isn't really the best fit for the card, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Do you have you've got do you have your copy of Black Cat over there?
I know, I do not actually.
Here, you can borrow mine.
All right, thanks for the cat. This is a neutral 5 XP. Whoa.
Wow.
He is a liar, a prophet, or both. That sounds like a cat.
Yep.
And he's got 2 wild icons, Ally, Avatar, and Dreamlands. Anytime you reveal a tablet, Elder Thing, or Elder Sign, so not all of them, not Cultist and not Skull.
Oh, that's going to be confusing. Okay.
It is very confusing. I've never seen a card with that combination.
Huh.
During a skill test, you may choose to use the following effects instead of that symbol's effect. Tablet, -1, the black cat takes 1 direct damage. Elder Thing, -1, the cat takes horror. And Elder Sign, +5, heal all damage and horror from the black cat. So that you're giving up your normal Elder Sign ability for that, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. My brain is struggling on this one. All right, and it soaks 3 and 3, so it can trigger quite a few times. Being able to replace bad stuff effects, especially those 2 tokens tend to be the ones with the heaviest like negatives, and a lot of the time the biggest punishment for failing or just bad thing on them. Like Skull and Cultist, I feel like is generally not as bad as these tokens that this hits.
Yeah.
Being able to replace those 3 or 4 times before the cat is discarded, and that's assuming no Elder Sign, seems really good.
Yeah. Definitely an interesting one for like a Mystic deck that's doing maybe a bit of bag manipulation. So maybe you get rid of the other bad tokens. And then you're like, oh, the worst thing that'll happen is like these 2 tokens. And, you know, and also if you're getting rid of a few tokens, you're getting more Elder Signs. So definitely see this going into most bag manipulation decks and maybe some other decks that just have a lot of XP left over.
Yeah, it's a good fit for like when you already have charisma and lots of XP still. Also, just 3 soak and 3 sanity, 3 damage soak and 3 horror soak for 2 resources. Seems like almost if this text box was blank, it would be an alright card. Maybe not a 5 XP card, but
okay.
It's like it's Brother Xavier level soak, if nothing else.
Yeah.
That seems really good. I've always kind of wondered when and if we'd ever see an ally that was just, it would probably be like a Guardian or a neutral card that just has a good amount of soak on it and nothing in its text box, right? Like I don't think we've ever had that. And I'm all surprised we haven't. And I've kind of wondered, like, what would Brother Xavier cost with no text? Probably about 2. Right? So all upside from there for its ridiculous ability.
Yeah.
I really like it. What do you think of the pack?
You know, overall, like some pretty powerful cards, and the ones that aren't powerful, like at least seem fun, like the Summoned Hound.
Yep.
So
there were no level 0s in here. We're already... You know, it's not the 6th pack of the cycle yet, but I guess it's the...
or not the 8th pack, you mean. This is the 6th pack.
It is the 6th product. It is the 5th Mythos pack out of 6 Mythos packs.
Yeah,
and it was what I was getting at. But anyway, usually the 6th pack is all level up cards. We got there even earlier this time.
Well, since there's 2 final scenarios, they might be doing it for the last 2 packs.
Maybe so. Yeah, and it's not a consistent rule. I think it really bothered me. It just bothered the, like... part of my brain that appreciates patterns when I think it was like the last pack of Forgotten Age had level 0 cards in it.
Oh yeah,
Something like
Circle and
that.
Done had level 0 bonded cards.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, because it introduced
Yeah.
those mechanics. Right. But yeah, no, we have lots of level 0 cards. I love getting more high level options at this point in the cycle.
Definitely.
Yeah, honestly, there is, for once, I think nothing in this pack that I consider to be kind of dead.
Yeah, I will probably play all of these cards at some point.
Yeah, like the next time I play a Guardian, I want to play the Empty Vessel. The next time I play a Seeker, I want to play these. They all are either really good or at least decent and fun.
Yeah.
Right? Sweet pack. I think one of the best of the cycle, if not the best so far.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words before we go?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching. Wash your hands. Just go do it right now. It's always a good idea. And we'll see you when the next pack comes out, wrapping up the cycle in April. Until then, be optimal.